Joining us on the line is Ladi Ann, and Ladi is a Brazilian-born LA-based singer. She's also a songwriter and audiovisual creator as well. Ladi, it's a pleasure to have you on with us.
Hi, Will. How are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely tremendous here today. How are things in Los Angeles?
Things are great. I'm really, really happy. It's very sunny. I feel like I'm in summer, so can't complain.
Absolutely. Always beautiful weather. I was in California not too long ago, so I know exactly what you're talking about. You know, I'm just kind of going over your website and your biography. One of the things that's really caught my attention is leaving your homeland of Brazil and going to Los Angeles at the age of 16. I had a daughter that was 16 not long ago, and I have a 9-year-old, so it just kind of blows my mind thinking that they would ever leave home for something like this. But what inspired you to do it?
Yeah, and that's exactly what my parents thought too. So, I've always had this dream of coming to California ever since I was 12 or even younger. And it was an idea that I would tell my parents. They would be like, "No, you're not going to California. You're crazy. You're too young." Because I've been saying that ever since I was literally like 12. And I had an older brother. At that time, my brother was 15, and his dream was also to do an exchange program in another country. My parents never let him, so I knew I had a big challenge in front of me that I wanted to achieve, and I decided I was going to achieve it. So when I turned 13, I wrote a letter, a secret letter from my parents that I would give them after 3 years, and the letter was basically saying the reasons why I wanted to come and explained that it was not a phase. And I started the letter by saying, I'll give you guys this letter in 3 years. My dream is to go to California. I want to prove to you that this is not a phase, and explaining about my musical dreams and everything. And after 3 years, I gave my mom the letter, and here I am. I moved here, and of course, a lot of things happened in those 3 years. My father passed away from cancer, and that was another thing that made me really want to come here to pursue my dreams, because being in Brazil with all that was going on, it was getting me a lot in my head, and I needed to get out and just work on myself, work on my craft.
I know that it takes a tremendous amount of willpower in order to do that kind of thing, because I think the natural inclination is we're always trying to please our parents, and we want to make them happy always. So I mean, so that's something that's a big step for sure.
Yeah, and like I forget to mention, when I was 13, I started selling stuff in school to save money for LA.
Wow.
So for those 3 years, I started selling like candy and everything I could on the street to my friends, and I saved enough money that I could come here. So that was an achievement for me as a little kid. It showed me that I can achieve anything I want in this life.
Absolutely. The American dream is surely huge, and it's for everybody. You're very much into audio-visual arts, and looking at your website, ladian.art, just the videos are just very impressive, and all the different pictures that are on there that you have put together. What inspired you to get into this line of work?
So I've always had a hard time expressing myself when people would ask me, what do I do? I thought, how can one's entire existence be put so simply? The common knowledge that you have to be one thing, find one purpose in order to succeed, just drove me crazy. I tried it at times, and it always got me feeling stuck. I've done many things. I've taken filmmaking courses. I graduated as an audio engineer. My first source of income started as a model. I write songs, I play, I act. And there's nothing more poisoning to an artist than to feel limit. So I decided I wasn't going to let myself feel limit by doing one thing or choosing one purpose. So I decided to join all of my talents together, and it resulted in becoming a audiovisual creator. I write, I play, I model, I act, I do everything in those videos. I join all that I love doing, all that my soul craves, and that's what makes me happy. I'm not one thing, I'm everything, and everything that I want to be. And that's an achievement for me, being able to do everything that I want and make a living out of it.
Absolutely. It's interesting to know that you have also run into some top people in the entertainment industry and have worked right alongside them with
Yeah.
your audio visual arts as well. So, what a tremendous experience that must have been for you.
Oh yeah, yeah. Um, I have many projects that are coming up now and next year that I just, if you told me I'd be working with these people a year ago, I wouldn't believe it. And I'm just so, so thankful for the opportunities.
Wow, and there's some big names, if you don't mind me dropping them, like Michael Jackson's former manager, also other big names as well, Bridget Dirks, Mark Schaffel, and Debbie Rowe, Michael Jackson's ex-wife. So, wow.
Yeah,
So what an experience
yeah,
that has been, for sure.
yeah. It's been an incredible experience to work with these people. I've worked with them in the past, and I have a lot of great projects coming up that I can't really talk so much about it right now. But stay tuned on my social media and my website because it's going to be really exciting.
That's awesome. Well, you've been very open about your experiences dealing with sexual harassment and assault in the entertainment industry. My sister, at one
Hmm.
point in time, was trying to get into singing, and she had a very bad experience with someone who was trying to help her get along in the industry. I've also bumped into coworkers and people that I've known that have tried modeling, and they've dealt with sexual harassment.
Oh my gosh, yes.
They've dealt with sexual assault, and it seems like it's quite prevalent. And we're watching the news right now unfold with what's happening with this whole Harvey Weinstein fiasco that's permeating everything. And you've been very open about what you have gone through yourself. What do young women need to know about this, especially entering the entertainment world?
Yes, yes. So when I was younger, going through episodes of sexual harassment, oftentimes I questioned myself if it was happening was normal or okay, because I feel like society instrumentalized women so much that it can be really confusing for the mind of a girl who's transitioning from her teenage years into adulthood. And it happened to me, for instance, an episode of when a man that seemed really friendly invited me when I was 16 and my 17-year-old roommate for a barbecue to meet people in the industry. But basically, he invented the whole thing. There was no barbecue at all, and all he did was try to get us drunk and take us into his bedroom.
Mm.
And for as sick as it sounds, in my mind at the time, I was wondering if what was happening was normal. I was wondering if that was okay, if that was just part of growing into an adult. And now thinking about it makes me really upset to realize that this is the message that media has been sending to our little girls, brainwashing them, just by instrumentalizing women. And what I want you all to know is that if it doesn't empower you and makes you feel very proud of who you are, then it probably isn't right, probably isn't okay. Working in the entertainment industry is supposed to be fun, and it's not supposed to make you feel anything less than empowered. Don't be afraid of seeking help, and remember, there's an army of good people in this world that are ready to fight for the good. We oftentimes get caught up with all the bad news going on, and we forget that there's actually good people around us. So I want the girls to remind themselves that then when they need help, there are good people around them to help.
And that's a very powerful message for sure. And I think as a man, I can't fully understand that until I became a father and I had two girls myself. And just thinking that anything like this ever happened to my two girls, I would just be absolutely furious. And, I don't know what I would do with somebody who's done this to my children. I'd be afraid of what I'd be
Hmm.
capable of doing. So for sure.
Exactly. And, this issue is only going to change if we speak about it, if we do something about it. So I encourage everyone to open up and speak about it so that everyone can become aware of the problem and we can start to change things.
Well, you've run into a whole bunch of positive people as well in Los Angeles, and that should not be forgotten.
Yeah.
So, all the musicians and actors and fellow artists that you've worked with, who do you admire the most?
Okay, so there's an artist named Nachi. You may have heard of her. She's an incredible singer-songwriter from Brazil. Now she's based in LA. I was lucky enough to grow up really close to her, and we explored our love for music together from a very young age. We had our first performances and shows together. We had the dream to come to LA together. and we've been achieving a lot together. So her input in my art and career is very clear. It shows, and I'm very grateful to be able to get inspiration from this amazing artist every day.
Hey,
She recently put out an EP, and I really, really recommend everyone to check it out. It's called Foreign, and empowers, foreign people in the United States, empowers Black community, minorities. It's just incredible.
well, you have a very special project that you're putting together. Tell us about your humanitarian project with the video series that you have put together, and also the tribute that you make to your late father through this as well.
Yeah, so the name of this project is Villas, and that was also the name of my father. It's a piano composition, no vocals, because I feel like sometimes music speaks louder and says more without any words. I wanted to create something very sophisticated and artistic as a tribute for him, so I invited a pole dancer named Marion Cramp to create a magical video with me, and we are really dismantling a lot of prejudice regarding pole dance in this video, because Marion is like a classy, sophisticated bird who flies and dances ballet on the pole. It's magical, and I can't really describe it with words. This project comes out on next Friday, the 27th, and we will be donating 100% of the profits earned on iTunes to a organization called Mind Lips that creates dance and educational programs for street children and out of youth in post-conflict and developing countries. So I'm really, really excited about it. I'm very happy that I'll be able to do something for these kids.
Tell me a little bit about your homeless shelter tour. What is involved in that? And I understand it's scheduled for 2018.
Yeah, well, I can't talk too much about it yet because we're still in the negotiation process. But if everything goes right, I'll be on the road in February with 3 more surprise artists, throwing vegan food parties and playing music in homeless shelters all over California in hopes to warm their hearts a little bit and let them know that they matter.
Absolutely, they sure do. Everybody does matter, and everybody has value, and there's no question about that.
Exactly.
Hey, you know what? I'm just quite impressed here with all your social media. Having a chance to dive into that from Instagram to Facebook to Twitter, all the pictures and all the cool videos that you've been able to share with us. Tell us a little bit about the online social media world of Ladi Ann, if you could.
Okay. Well, so I have my Instagram, which is ladi.anne, Ladian, and I've been on Instagram for a few years now, and for me, it's on and off. I'm not constantly on Instagram because I like to have a real life. I feel like if I'm only online, I'm missing out on what's going on in the real world. So I try to share very special moments, but not too often. Not too often. I like to keep the mystery of what's going on in my personal life. I like to share a lot of my work, and it's a great platform to connect with people. But I believe there has to be a balance, with that and the real world, real life.
And I understand you have a website too, Ladi. If you could tell us a little bit about that and what we can expect from it.
Yeah, I have a website. Actually, the website is still in the process of getting completely finalized, but it's online already. It's ladian.art, and there you can check out all of my projects, my bio, pictures, and I'll soon be posting blog posts as well, just talking about subjects that really interest me, really close to my heart. So I'll be posting once a week, and I'll be starting that next week. So you should check it out.
Ladi Ann is joining us here on the show, and we appreciate you stopping by. And also, Ladi, just really sharing some personal experiences here and a powerful message to a lot of young people as well who are looking at pursuing their dreams in the entertainment industry.
Thank you so much. I would like to take this moment and thank also the dancer, Marion Cramp, that did my last project with me, Villas. She was wonderful. We had only 3 hours to get the whole thing done. She was in LA to shoot at the Ellen DeGeneres show, and she had some time in the morning before shooting with Alan, and we made it happen within 3 hours. So I really, really want to thank her for that. And I'm really, really excited about everything that's coming soon. And yeah, stay tuned. Stay in touch.
Thank you so much for stopping by, Ladi.
Thank you. Have a good day.